with your coward-ass boys.
That's the voice of Bassem Masri, who streamed this video live at the time.
Coward. Straight pig out here. Straight bitch. You gotta go.
Aren't you trying to provoke the police there, trying to get more views maybe?
I'm just a citizen, you know? I'm a citizen journalist or whatever you want to call it. I didn't ask for none of this.
All right, there you go. There's one of the so-called protesters from Ferguson. We're going to see a lot more of those probably this week if the predictions are true and the verdict comes down from the grand jury to indict or not to indict. Joining us now on the Malzberg panel, columnist and contributing editor for TheRoot.com, David Swerdlick, and radio host and author of the new book that is sure to make waves, folks, Race Pimping, the multi-trillion-dollar business of liberalism, which exposes the tactics of the left to fleece America. And that would be Kevin Jackson. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you. Let me start with you, Kevin. It came out from Jim Hoft at the Gateway Pundit that on November 5th, although it was not on Barack Obama's public schedule, he met with Ferguson activists, and among the things he told them was stay on course. Is it appropriate, I guess, to say once a community organizer, always a community organizer?
You know, there's so many things wrong about that. I mean, it's tough enough to get on the president's calendar for meaningful things. And I remember when he snubbed Netanyahu on a meeting where Netanyahu had traveled from Israel to meet with him, and he just kind of got up and walked away or didn't see him at all. And I think about he was at the ready to talk to these folks. Look, everybody's a citizen. You should have access to the president equally, so I don't have a problem with it from that perspective. But what I do have a problem with is Barack Obama has not made a single phone call to any of the business people that had their businesses looted. He hasn't talked to the mayor of Ferguson to assure him that he's doing everything he can to make sure that community is safe. He hasn't talked to the sheriff. He hasn't talked to Darren Wilson. And he's allowing this type of thing to happen when everybody by this juncture knows that Michael Brown, pretty much the things that he did led to his death, as tragic as it may be. And everybody wants to fall back on, well, Kevin, nobody deserves to die. I have a 102-year-old aunt who doesn't deserve to die. We're going to mourn her when she goes, but she's going to go. We're all going to go. None of us really technically deserves to die. But if you do actions that lead to your death, don't expect all the things that are happening with Michael Brown. That's what I think bothers most of America. We've lost our sensibilities.
David, Al Sharpton, according to the Reverend Al Sharpton, quoted here in the Gateway Pundit, he was delivering a speech. He said, Mr. Obama was concerned about Ferguson staying on course in terms of pursuing what it was that he knew we were advocating. I mean, what do you think of meeting with these protesters, many of whom have been violent?
Look, Steve, if conservative bloggers and conservative politicians want to make hay out of this, I guess they can. This wasn't a meeting of just sort of a random assortment of people. These were for better or worse, or whether you or conservatives like them or not, a group of the most prominent civil rights leaders in the country. Sharpton, the head of the NAACP, the head of the Urban League, the head of the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund. And this, I don't know whether it was on his public schedule or not, but the meeting was actually reported that day. It wasn't a secret. And at this meeting, I suppose they did discuss Ferguson. And the quotes that are being talked about in the Gateway Pundit blog are quotes of Reverend Sharpton reporting out his version of events in the meeting. Those aren't quotes from the president. He said the president asked people in Ferguson and other leaders to stay on course. Again, it's not a direct quote. And he also asked people to remain peaceful. So I'm just not sure what the issue is unless people are saying that President Obama can't discuss Ferguson with civil rights leaders, which he obviously can't.
And I think David's right. I agree with you. I think that you should be able to meet with the president over whatever it is. I think that the idea, at least in most Americans' minds, that Ferguson has blown up to the point that it has an American lexicon is ridiculous. And I think that's the problem. Look, we've got a governor here, Jay Nixon, who's established an Office of Community Engagement. And he's hired two people, a former senator and a former judge, both Democrats, both now making six figures. The senator used to make $31,500 as a state senator. She now makes $120,000 to be over the Office of Community Engagement. Well, last time I checked, the representative that represents that area, the state rep, the senator, the congressman, Lacey Clay, and also the governor are the Office of Community
All right,
Engagement.
what about it, David? What about it, David?
Look, you know, the governor, we talked about this on your show a couple of days ago. The governor has gotten involved in various ways. The president has spoken to Governor Nixon a couple of times, including the week that Michael Brown was killed. I think that you know, a lot of stuff is going on behind the scenes that we maybe should know more about. But as far as I'm concerned, what I see is public officials trying to ready themselves for what some are predicting is going to be a tense situation, but I'm hoping, and I think everybody else is hoping, will be, you know, peaceful,
Okay.
orderly response.
All right, we're coming back with both of you guys right after the break. Don't go away.